My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Hey folks, welcome back. Today we've got another special guest zooming in from the exotic locale of Brookings, South Dakota. We've got a very accomplished real estate investor and entrepreneur and developer who's doing something kind of different, very different, I would say, when it comes to the kind of properties that he is building out. We got Mr. Dusten Hendrickson. Welcome to the show, Dusten.
Hey, thanks for having me, Dave. I'm excited to chat with you today.
Well, I love the name of your company to start with. Your website is Mailbox Money RE.
Yep.
Doesn't get much better than that from an investor point of view. So before we jump into what you do and how you do it, how'd you come up with the name of the company and the website?
My buddy, who's actually one of my really good partners now, one of my best partners or my biggest partners.
Yeah.
He builds all our stuff. He's our GC. He just said something. He said, mailbox money. He's like, it sounds like you're creating a lot of mailbox money. And I was like, that's it. I'm using it. I'm taking it. And I'm using it for my business. Thank you.
Very good. So Dusten, give us a little snapshot of what does real estate, what does development look like for you and the company? We're recording this mid 2025. What are things looking like? What do you guys do?
Well, we primarily focus on the affordable housing crisis and how we can solve it. And I've been developing for 20 plus years now and over $500 million in transactions, real estate experience, mostly development.
So what does affordable housing mean for you? What does that look like? Because mobile homes are affordable housing. There's all sorts of kinds. So
affordable housing to me is not necessarily big A affordable. We concentrate on little A affordable. Big A affordable means it's subsidized in some sort of way. It's Section 8. It's federally funded. We do not need our housing to be subsidized. It does qualify for subsidies, and certain places will bring us in with a subsidy because they want us there so bad. Otherwise, if it's a free market area, our stuff works there as well, and we can bring it to larger cities because usually those larger cities don't offer TIFs. And affordable just means that more or less that it's attainable. And it doesn't mean single family housing, because I don't feel like single family housing is affordable anymore. I think the affordability of single family housing is over. I think
even in South Dakota.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just too expensive. There's too much upkeep. There's too many emergencies that happen. You just have to have more money than you used to. You have to, to start your home is $350, and then you have to do all these things with it. Your utilities are higher, your taxes are higher, insurance is higher. You have to cover any emergency. So it's not an all in, and you need to make minimum of 100 to 150 to afford that house. That's not really that affordable.
So affordable for you are apartment buildings, apartments.
Affordable it's basically apartment buildings of some sort. I think the renter market is actually affordable, and you need to live in that first, save up some money, then move on. Otherwise, most people that are getting starter homes are actually getting help from their parents.
Yeah, most definitely. So Dusten, paint us a picture of what a typical property that you develop looks like what size, how many units?
We've done all the stuff, the A class, the B class, and we are focusing on A class locations in the suburbs. It's extremely nice. We don't do any surface parking. We do a very desirable building that's we call it modern workforce housing. It's 3-story, it's walk up, there's no elevator. There's no pool. Where we concentrate on the high value ROI items, which are interior of the unit, exterior is attractive, and extremely good location. We do a few upgrades like floor to ceiling windows, and that's our selling point because it brings you outside. It connects you more to nature. We concentrate on wellness design because wellness design doesn't really cost us anything. It's just more intentional.
And I don't even know what wellness design means.
Wellness design is any design aspect of the unit that makes you feel better. So big windows that let in tons of natural light so you don't need to turn on your lights during the day, that is something that makes you feel better. Just something as simple as closets that have built-in shelving and custom closets make you feel better. The washer and dryer in the unit makes you feel better because you don't have to drag your laundry down to a shared facility and worry if someone has stole your laundry. Yeah, living in a safe environment with access to nature makes you feel better. Anything that makes you feel better is wellness design.
Okay. So let me back up for a second, make sure I get it. So 3 stories.
Yep.
Not too many frills like elevators.
Correct. No elevator.
Or pools or anything like
Correct.
that. What did you say about no parking? No
surface parking.
No, what is that? So
no underground parking, no garages. Okay. Surface parking only. So we usually hide the surface parking. So we make our architecture the focal point. So we put our buildings along the roads, and you drive in between the buildings to get to the parking lot. And then we put a lot of landscaping in to hide all the cars so that you're not looking at a bunch of cars, a big parking lot, because that's kind of ugly, in my opinion. And then it's kind of in the center. It's a parking lot's a more harsher environment. So if you have a more beautiful structure, the city or the economic development corporation or the municipalities you're working with want you to bring it everywhere else.
Okay. And we got 3 stories. How many units on average? Like
typically 14, but we have 12 to 25 unit floor plans that we use. Locations are all suburban, but close to urban areas where all the jobs are.
But I guess state-wise, what states do you?
State, Eastern South Dakota. We've got stuff going in Rochester, Minnesota, Des Moines, Iowa. We're looking at Kansas City. We are looking at Madison, Wisconsin, and we are looking at Columbus, Ohio, and then some towns in between those areas.
Now, we were talking a little bit off camera, Dustin, and you're talking about, I can't remember how you expressed it, but it was very, very interesting. It was like, by doing all of this and creating a beautiful product at an affordable price, you're still able, you're able to make it as profitable or more profitable versus building something right downtown. I butchered that.
Right. So tell me about we use the most of the things that we do are similar to a downtown loft. You have a very nice, trendy interior unit. You have a very beautiful exterior building. We just don't have the underground parking. We don't have all the amenities. And then we put it in a suburban location where we have a little more space. So when you walk into your unit, it's got floor to ceiling glass too. So you're like, wow, this feels kind of like a loft. I can take this for half the price as being downtown. So not only do we have the people that are stretched way above their means to get into the place, and they usually rely on their parents to help them. So you'll get someone that's looking for their first place. They'll bring their parents. Their parents will, and I've done this for a while because I live in a college town, so I know that the parents will come and they will kick in a $200, $300, $400 a month for their kid to live in a better, safer place. Nice place. Yeah. So we have those people moving in, and we also have the people that can afford $2,000 a month to live downtown. But they're like, oh, I can save $1,000 to live here. It's almost the same thing. Most of the time I'm going to be in my unit, but there's a huge savings, and I get to live in the suburbs versus living downtown. So there's some people that they live downtown and they don't like it as much as they think they will. So now we offer them a totally different living environment, but the unit is the same. The interior
even bigger, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very cool. So walk me through how you kind of came up with this strategy. Was this trial and error? Did you see something else doing something similar?
It's pretty much 20 years in the making of development and realizing that most renters do not care about amenities. They don't care about the elevator. What they care about is a beautiful interior, a nice looking building, and the location. That's the main things they care about. And then they want everything usable in the apartment. They want washer and dryer. They want custom closets, which they're not necessary, but they want islands in their kitchens. They want black hardware. They want floor to ceiling glass. They want different things like that. They want trendy spaces. They want Instagrammable. They want to be able to take a selfie wherever they're at. That's what generation we're dealing with now. And that's
so huge. It must be a younger demographic, because I'm thinking, Yeah, young people
Yeah.
don't mind walking up 3 flights of stairs. Seniors
Right.
do.
Yeah. But so now these work for seniors too, because the seniors can take the bottom floor. So all our
Right.
ADA stuff's in the bottom floor. And then you can walk up. The top floors have better views though. So the kids, the kids are fine walking up a flight of stairs or two. We've had no issue renting because of the stairs. People always think, well, who's going to want to walk up 3 flights of stairs? Most people don't mind.
Dumb question. Just logistically moving like
Yeah.
furniture and stuff like
Yeah.
that. 3 flights of stairs doesn't sound like much fun.
It doesn't, but I don't think people think about that. That's the deal, right? You're in the unit and you're looking, you don't really think like, oh, this is going to suck. And then when you're moving the furniture, yeah, that part sucks. But yeah, that part's not that fun, but I don't think people actually think that until they've already secured the unit.
All right. Hopefully you got fairly wide stairwells so they can get their couch
Yeah.
out without too much
Yeah,
problem.
you can get the furniture up. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
It's not easy going up 3 flights, but these are small boutique buildings though. So you're not walking down big long corridors and stuff with your furniture.
Yeah, well, exactly. 12 to 16 units. That's nice, right? And
Yeah.
it's kind of a little bit more of a community versus these huge
Right.
apartment buildings. So what like what size apartments are they? You've got studios, 1 bedrooms,
Yeah.
2 bedrooms. What is the mix?
We have some as small as 400 square foot for a studio. Then we have some 500 square foot studios. Then we have 600. Actually, we have one bedroom that's like 500. It's our smallest 1 bedroom.
Mhm.
But people, like, I don't know. Some people love it because it's our cheapest 1 bedroom. It's on the main floor. You've got an exterior access. You don't have access through the hallway, so you don't have to come in through the hallway. So that's an easy move. You just walk
Yeah.
your stuff right in from the parking lot right into that unit. And then we go all the way up to about 1,100 for a 3 bedroom. So they're very efficient units. So
Mhm.
you keeps your utilities down. The taxes are low. We don't have any corridors, shared corridors. We just have one stairwell, and that's where all of your units are. They're off of that one stairwell. So you have very little common space.
And Dustin, you're a ground up developer, like if I
Yeah.
understand correctly. So
Yeah.
you're starting from finding the property and then
Yes.
getting all the approvals and
Yes.
rezonings and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Have you been doing that since day one, or did that come later down the road?
No, I've been doing that since day one. The only thing I don't really do is land development. Like, we don't take a parcel of land and split it up and, oh, here's the R3, here's the R1, here's the commercial, and sell that off. We go into the people that are doing that, the developers, land developers, we go in and say, hey, we want all of your R3. You let us know when you have R3. We'll give you an LOI right away. So when you go to the bank, it's a viable project because we'll buy that from you. So then we
Okay.
come in and partner with them right away. And with our reputation, we don't have to give any hard money, or very rarely do we have to give hard money. And so that's one thing that a lot of these apartment guys they give hard money, then they get trapped into the deal on the acquisition side. We don't have any of that. We have LOIs and we have a little bit of contingency money. We go through, do all of our due diligence, and we close all the time. So there's no need for hard money. And then we also will give an LOI way soon in the project that they can take to the bank. And then that gives them credibility as well.
Very cool. So at this point, mid 2025, how many different projects or communities do you currently have on the go, like in some form of being built out?
Oh, over 20, but
Wow.
those are, some I've had for 10 years,
Mhm.
but just projects that are being built under construction and being stabilized right now we have 10 of this exact same model.
Kind
So
of cookie cutter.
just of this modern workforce housing initiative that we've put together, they're all pretty much the same. They have the same color palette. They have the same interior layout. This is our 10th iteration.
That's really smart. So like you've got all your supplies dialed right in. You're not reinventing the
Yeah.
wheel. You're
We
cranking them up.
we use a lot of the same subs, so we know exactly how long they're going to take. We know which ones are going to not be accurate on their timeline, so we can give them a little more time. We know how much every single thing should cost. At this point, we're not even using up all our contingency funds, which is kind of crazy. For me, that's very rare because I used to develop one-off projects all the time, and we'd always use up all of our contingency and then
Yeah.
some. And now we've got it so dialed in that we don't even use all the contingency.
So walk me through the business model if you don't mind, Dustin. So when you're explaining these kind of projects to a potential investor or an LP for a syndication, however you're funding these, how do you kind of show them how the business runs? Like if you're starting with, okay, we've locked in a property,
Mhm.
it's going to take this much and this long to get
Yeah.
it to this stage, then the next stage, and then are you selling these right away? Are you holding them? What's the exit plan?
So there are a lot more variables in development, but then
Yeah.
there's also a longer horizon to hit your value. So what I like to say is an acquisition, if you buy it and it doesn't make money right away, chances are that it's not that good of a deal and you probably made a bunch of errors. Like within an acquisition, as you need to immediately make money
So maybe
because
for people that aren't familiar with development,
yeah.
explain to them how you make money immediately with the acquisition.
So
Ideally.
with the acquisition, you make money immediately because when you buy it, it already has cash flow, and you're trying to increase that cash flow and flip some units, right? So you almost within a year, you know if an acquisition is a good deal or not. With a development, you have a much longer runway. You have up to
Yeah.
5 years to prove out your business plan, which gets you through some of the really rough times. So we get
Okay, sorry, I misunderstood you.
yeah.
I thought you were talking about your business plan
No,
acquisition. You're talking about
so
general.
I've done a lot of acquisitions too. So an acquisition is the most typical syndication form, right? Some people are usually more familiar with acquisitions
Yeah.
of
No, I'm
existing
talking about your
apartments.
business model. Your
Yep.
particular.
So
Okay,
I'm just trying to say the differences. So
got it.
with a development, you have a longer runway. So we go out and put the land under contract. We start raising the money on the deal and say it's 100 units. It's roughly $16 million for 100 units.
But I thought you're making much smaller.
We are, but we
Okay.
do multiple buildings.
Okay, so ding, 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 all of them.
Yeah. So
Got
for
it.
efficiency, yes. So we do smaller buildings, but we'll build a building and then we'll lease that building up. And then our next building comes online and then we lease
Ah,
that up. For efficiency, we do one at a time. But when the project's all said and done, we like to do
there's
100
100 units.
units per
I get it.
project.
I
And
get
then
it.
we like to do multiple phases because we really want 150. So we buy the land and we like to start with a minimum of 4 acres and we like to put options on multiple more land after that. And we go
Okay.
anywhere from 4 acres to 15 acres roughly. And so we buy the land, get it under contract, and we start raising our first amount of money. We got to raise about $6 million in equity, $10 million in debt. So we buy the land and we close on the construction loan almost simultaneously.
Okay.
So we do that with the $6 million in equity that we raised. Then we use the equity, we draw all that equity down on the foundations and get started. Then we start using our debt of 10 million. And we also have to find guarantors because it's very hard to get non-recourse development funding. You can get it, but it's so expensive, it doesn't really work as well. So we
Okay.
have guarantors on that as well. And then we were first building within 9 months of putting shovel in the ground. It's ready for renting. We get our occupancy permit and we put tenants in there
Within 9 months.
in 9 months.
Wow. Okay,
Yep.
so and you're typically starting with one of these
Yep.
12 to 16 unit buildings at a
Yep.
time. Is that
We
correct?
start with one, then we start with the next one. So then when the concrete guy's done, then he moves over to the next one. Then
Oh,
the
okay.
then the plumbing and underground comes in, then the come back and you put the cap on. So then you've got a foundation with the stubs and the concrete slab. Now the framers come in, and typically the framers come in and they have to frame up a huge 100 unit building, right? But no one can really do anything until they're done.
Right.
The framers frame up a 12 unit, move on to the next 12 unit. Well, now the roofers come in and now you get your trades in there, electricians, everything. Move on. That's why we can get in 9 months, we can get one building done. Meanwhile, the framers now are probably done with everything. And each month after that, so you get one building, so 100 units is roughly six buildings, 7 buildings, 8 buildings. Is it 8 buildings? Yeah, 8 buildings roughly. So they're that's one's done, and then so it's roughly a year and a half when everything's complete. But since
Okay.
we've been leasing and getting cash flow when we've built up our reserves, and then when everyone leaves the site in month 16 or month 8, 16 to 18, we're pretty much 100% pre-leased. So now we got another month or two to fill out those leases, and now it's 95 to 100% occupancy almost immediately.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
So then in 2 years, you start getting your distributions. And then we look to refi from year 3 to year 5, and we look to sell anywhere from year 4 to year 10. And we aim to sell in between years 4 and 5 because that's your best IRR.
That's when you keep your investors happiest.
Yeah, that's why we try to keep our investors happiest in 1031. But sometimes they're in a bad market like right now, and then we have to hold for a few more years. So we like to tell people it could be 10 years, but it's more than likely going to be 4, 5, 6 years when we sell. And then the refi, sometimes like we look at it at 3 years, but right now we have 3.25 debt. We're not going to refi into 6.5 debt. So we run that out now. We'll do 5 years on that before we refi.
Yeah.
So,
that's
a lot of variables, but you should start making distributions roughly at 2 years. But most of your money comes in year 5 is where the majority of your money comes. And then we do offer 1031 exchanges into the next deal. So you can just keep rolling that snowball. And one thing I like to tell people is development is it's not as much of a cash flow distribution play, but it has a longer runway. And in my opinion, it's a safer investment, especially what you're seeing now with all these people getting whacked with the floating rate debt.
All
the different things from when they bought in 21 and 22.
Yeah.
We create so much more value in development that you have a lot more risk tolerance. So people think development's a lot riskier. I actually don't think it's riskier. I think it's less risky if you have a good team.
Well, and you've been doing this for a while. You've been through several cycles.
Yeah.
So
we've been through several cycles. Developments are always fine, and it's our acquisitions that get hurt the most through the down cycles.
I can see that for sure, Dustin. So as we're wrapping up our conversation, time flies. What are your goals and aspirations for the upcoming year?
The upcoming year, we want to get a development in the ground and coming out of the ground in Rochester and coming out of the ground in Des Moines. And then we want to get land under contract in KC and Madison and possibly Lincoln, Nebraska. And then we'll work and also start selecting sites in Columbus.
And you're going to keep going with the same model, the kind of the cookie cutter, proven concept.
Proven concept, cookie cutter. It's easy to bring in and sell all of these economic development corps. And once they see it, they all want it because they look at what you get for the amount of rents. And so,
I was looking at your website, and those are darn good looking properties. That's for sure. I mean,
thank you.
Very attractive looking. So Dustin, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people checking this out, wanting to connect with you, find out more. Where should they go?
Mailboxmoneyre.com. RE as in real estate. Mailboxmoneyre.com.
Fantastic. Well, hey, Dustin, thanks so much for being on the show. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Dave.
All right, everybody, take care, and we will see you on the next episode. Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewsyou.com.